Hi there, Ron here, a variable play, and welcome to Larong Atin. Namali ako ng click, dapat isang intro pa. Pero nagulat ako, pinasok ko yung sarili ko. Like, what did I do? So, welcome, good evening, and happy Women's Day!
Happy
Yay!
Women's Day. Onning the
Yan.
light.
So, hindi ako ang magiging star of the show. Well, hindi naman ako star of the show in the first place. Um, But yun, thank you everyone for joining. Hey, good evening. May mga, ano, more funky than normal. Oo. Kasi, kasi yan na yung nagmamadali ako. Last 2 minutes yan ginawa. Literal. Let me just turn on our background music. Okay. Yan. So, kasi, um, yan, we were recovering our files and it was just there and yeah. Uh, So kakabuo lang niya and it's not the correct music for it, but copyright free because it was AI generated. So that's how I'm combating AI copyright claims at the moment. Copyright yan. I just generated it. So okay. Good evening everyone. Today we
Evening.
will be interviewing our two guests here, um, Bianca and Aya. Before we get to that, and I've already done some of my sharing of social media stuff. But I'll share it a bit more kasi I think hindi pa ako napapadalhan ng groups. So in the meantime, what have you guys been playing? What board games have you or table or RPGs have you guys been playing? Maybe Bianca, let's start with you. What is your most recent? What have you played this week?
So the latest thing I've played is an OSR game called Best Left Buried. So it's a tabletop RPG about dungeon delving, and you only have 3 stats, and you need your mental will to fight against monstrosities that can really mess up with you.
Okay, okay. And how long normally is the game time for? Yes, it's
Uh,
a bit more of a one
so
shot.
it's kind of like it could be a one shot. It could also be a campaign, and
Mm,
we had a 3 hour session last time.
okay, nice, nice, nice. So more. So what is best left buried? I mean, normally ano yung so it's basically mga things that people would open up and it would then unlock the Scorpion King. Ganun ba yung peg nung nung team nung
I guess pwede. Like, so
mm,
parang adventurers kayo, and usually somebody
mhm.
hires you to go into a dungeon to get treasure. So, pwede
Right,
magsabi,
right, right.
oh, we discovered a crypt and mayroong kulto doon that we heard left some good treasure. But we also heard there are some
Mm-hmm.
abominations there, so we're paying you gold to come in and plunder the dungeon.
Okay, okay, okay. Cool, cool. It does give me that Scorpion King, Egypt, um, don't touch because and
Yeah.
then your all of your adventures are agnostic. Like no, I don't believe in in the Spider Queen. It's just a spider, which is a really bad idea. Ayun. Good evening, Rap. How about you, Aya? What have you played recently?
I played War Chess. I really like the
Oh,
game.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
Kalaban mo
And
si Nico.
no, I
Oh,
played
okay.
against Vito and some randos on BGA. I don't have a physical copy of the
Oh, you
game.
played it in V.
Yeah, I played on BGA.
Nasaan ang War Chest ko? Alam ko meron ako eh. Nasaan siya? Kasi na nga ba? So, I love, yeah. So, what about War Chess? Kasi you played it online, so you don't get to play with the tactile poker
Yeah.
chips. Asa daw si Nico ay Aya sa War Chess. So War Chess, for the ones who haven't, Aya, maybe you can share with them
Yeah,
how it plays.
it's a strategic two-player or four-player game. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess it reminds me of chess somewhat, but
Mm-hmm.
wherein like the different troops can move differently. They have different
Mm-hmm.
tactics they call. So it's about getting to six parang ano bang tawag doon? Markers, control markers.
Control
Controlling
markers.
six
Yeah,
parang control markers first. And yun, it's a very strategic game.
yeah. What I also like about it is the whole
Bag
bag building, di ba?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a big aspect nga. Kasi you you can recruit or add chips of or like how
Right.
many like troops into the bag. So it changes the probability of you parang drawing the troop and being able to maneuver the troop.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep.
bag building
Yep.
game siya.
And then parang when you get um a when you get three, no? Tama ba? Three per round, and then you now start using them. Parang siya yung hand mo of your actions. You can decide to
Exactly.
deploy them, or you can decide to use them to activate the same color nila, or you can use it to do other things. So I like that aspect na parang galing token pero multi-use. Di ba?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yung cute niya kasi and then yun nga, add to each type of unit is very unique. They would have similarities like the sort of horse versus the cavalry versus um, the other type of horse. Medyo may iba sila ng movement, the pikemen versus the spearmen, medyo may iba ng movement, but they all somehow make sense. And then syempre the randomness pa rin of whatever you draw in the bag add to
Actually,
the aspect din na parang wala na siyang ganun parang hindi gagalaw ng matagal yung unit na yan parang pwede ko
you
munang
count
kalimutan
the
siya.
tokens. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need to remember though, because diba you were asking what latest game. So I automatically thought tabletop, but then actually just last night I played Blood on the Clock Tower. So since it's a social deduction game and we play it over Discord voice chat, I forget that it is like tabletop. But yeah, I just
Right.
wanted to say that that's actually the latest game that I
The
played last
latest
night.
game.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Ako, recent board game that I've played is, hold on, mabuta ko yung pangalan niya. Shucks. Sino nga pa pangalan na? Yun. It's still Tyrants of the Underdark. So Tyrants of the Underdark is a deck building game where you are these drow factions, and you're trying to recruit different people into your deck so that you can deploy more of your troops to conquer the Underdark. It's cool kasi medyo recently lang ako, sorry sa mga RPG people there, as in recently ko lang nalaman yung lore ng a bit more in-depth lore ng lore ni Drizzt, the Dark Elf Trilogy. So parang recently ko lang siyang napakinggan, and saka ko palang yung pala yung tsura ni Drizzt, and Drizzt pala siya, and a lot of other things. Parang yung pala yung pinagsasabi nilang mga characters. So nagkaroon akong reference, and then it's very thematic yung game, pero in terms of even if you're not familiar with the lore, because I had it played by people who really don't play, tabletop RPGs or D&D for that matter. They didn't mind. They were just enamored with all the things that they can do with the game. The game kasi the idea, kind of like Ascension if you played it, where you have ways to produce mana in or resources in order to produce sort of attack or movement. And yun. Um, so that combined with you can hire dragons and hire priestesses and hire other really cool creatures. And then may concept pa siya ng mixed deck. So if you mix the beholders with the illithid, and then suddenly it's a whole new different set of mechanics work. So yun. And then I've been playing. I recently got the latest RG3XX from Anne Bernick. It's a console. So quick here. It's basically like it's homage to uh, sorry, ito pala yung camera ko. To Game Boy. So but yeah, you have it's an emulator system, and then the most recent one I've been playing was Blackthorn. No, I'm not. Not a lot of people know that game. It's basically um, this sort of hindi siya makita. Kaya mo yan. You can do it. Ayaw niya. So, but yun, you're just this character, cool, long hair dude, and then cool siya nung 80s, sorry, 90s naman. 90s. Kasi it's one of those video games na so normally you have a shooter like Contra, diba? You just shoot forward. Sa kanya, you have an ability to make him shoot to the person behind him. So, it's pretty useless. I barely use it in the game. But cool lang siya. Okay, cool. So, you finally start. Uy, ang dami na ng mga tao. We have, good evening, Ranji. Your Games, Bruno, thank you for joining. So, today, we'll be talking about our two guests here, and we would be getting to know. So, let me just introduce them. Aya is part of the Balangay Entertainment. Tama ba?
Yep.
Yes, Balangay Entertainment is designer, publisher group. They serve a lot of NGOs for educational games, as well as have produced their own array of tabletop games, sort of like immersive experience games, as well as traditional card games and board games. So most notable, syempre, is Darna. You have
The
Big Switch, the
Plastic Man.
yung Bagani, and
Yeah.
and among others. We'll get back to the other games that Aya has designed. We'll have her talk about that. But Aya, you're also a teacher, tama ba?
No.
You researcher.
Researcher. Mhm.
Okay. And then later on, maybe you can share with us. Kasi I know you're helping out the government on some eco situation at the moment. If it's okay for you to share, then you can talk about that later. And then our other guest, who has joined Variable Play a couple of times already, is Bianca. So Bianca is the Diana Jones awardee for Best Upcoming Designer, and has designed the award-winning Arc. Arc is a tabletop RPG that is somewhat like a hybrid board game because you have a time bound. You decide at the beginning of your game how many hours or minutes you want to play, and that is the clock or the third sort of how the game would progress. And as you go through the time, you are then introduced triggers that you then incorporate in your tabletop experience. So, yun. And aside from that, Bianca is also the artist of art, the designer, copy editor, everything. Kulang na lang siya yung nag-print silk screen na. Yan. Pati yung video ng Kickstarter ng art. Bianca rin ang gumawa. So yun, thank you. Thank you both to the both of you for a very quick reaction of like, sige tara, let's do it. Especially sabi ko, it's Women's Day today, so maganda sana if we can get some local Filipino designer. Napa-research din kami kanina about foreign designers. So you have, of course, Elizabeth Hargrave, who did Wingspan, but we realized that there's quite a lot of number of female designers. Hindi lang sila mas parang separate, mas marami pa rin in terms of the population yung mga male designers. But substantial na rin yung dami ng mga female designers. So I guess we want to start with, before we get into that, ano muna yung mga background nyo. What did you guys do before getting into tabletop, and how did you get into tabletop? So, Aya, maybe you can give us a background of what do you normally do outside of the tabletop world, if it's okay to
Ah,
share, and then how did you get into tabletop gaming?
okay. So so what I do now is research and science communication. Um, so my undergrad is in applied physics, but then I was also doing a lot of theater work with the Philippine Educational Theater Association, or PETA. But
Mm-hmm.
and I guess that's how I got into science communication. Aside from also being, parang growing up in Baguio. So since I grew up in Baguio, I appreciated nature, and so it was one thing I was passionate about ever since I was a kid. Uh, and then tama ba? So like tabletop, it was introduced by board games was introduced by my cousin Carlo. He brought uh so I even if I started studying na here in Manila, I still spend my holidays in Baguio because my dad is there, and my cousin Carlo, he brought mga modern games, so Lords of Waterdeep, Ticket to Ride, ganyan, and it
Nice.
got the whole family. Though we've also been playing like a lot of the mga party games like Taboo or Cranium before, like before the boom of modern board games. But yun, when we were introduced to it, we were hooked, and I guess that's I how I discovered the love of tabletop. Did I answer it?
Mm-hmm. Cool. And what? How did you get into game design then?
Ah, game design. Okay. So when Balangay was starting, I think the first ever game that Balangay designed actually is Resilient, Survive, and Thrive. So, uh, it's a game about um, balancing economic development with environmental protection to because the environment protects us in a sense from the impacts of climate change, like extreme weather events, how uh, the mangroves might parang dissipate strong waves, or how a better environment might like lessen impacts like landslides or stuff from like typhoons. Um, so in that game, I was more of a project manager of sorts, but I also contributed in like what does this game need to say. So parang yung
Mm.
conceptual diagram na pinagbasehan nung uh, design ng game was provided by me since the message needs to be clear.
Mhm.
So I guess that was the first um, game design uh, initiative I was part of. But then again, since nga I was doing theater and facilitating mga theater workshops, I was also already doing a lot of design, syllabus design, which is still somewhat um, designing an activity for certain for people to enjoy but still learn stuff. So yeah, I guess the combination of um, designing theater workshops and my initial involvement in resilience is how I started in game design.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Thank you, Aya. Um, how about you, Bianca? How did you? What do you do outside of tabletop gaming, and then how did you get into gaming, and then how did you get into designing a game?
Yeah. So I actually graduated with an industrial engineering degree course, but even then I already had a lot of passion for like drawing, for technical writing, which I brought over to my current career as an associate communications officer for an IT department. So I really like na mga complex na procedures and then writing it so that it's much more easier to understand. And getting into gaming was happening kasi when I was young, I read a lot of Dragonlance books. So these are parang old D&D books set in the land of Crane where the dragons were long thought dead, but suddenly they came back. And I really thought, man, I really want to play Dungeons and Dragons. So, but that didn't happen until college when I finally found a group of friends that I could play it with. And that really started my love of role playing games. And eventually, when I grew a little older, I thought it might be fun to try designing. I had some cool ideas for mechanics. I could make some games out of them. And then it started as a small hobby that I also really engage in because a lot of other friends, some of them also, many of them also women, were engaging in. So parang we were designing games together. It had a really fun creative energy.
Cool, cool. So ang talagang first foray mo is ano na talaga RPGs yung naging inspiration getting in. And then from
Yeah.
there saka ka nag-branch out into sort of board games na. Pero nauna ang tabletop RPG.
Yep.
Oh, cool, cool. Awesome, awesome. All right. Um, I've asked the help of ChatGPT just to organize yung mga tanong. So, but in essence, syempre that it's nasaan na to? So, I'm assuming naman Bianca, are if I may ask, are you married or
Ah, not
not yet?
married.
Not married. Okay. All right. Aya, you have kids already, and yeah, and at least you guys can both answer from a different perspective. So, as a woman or a mother, up to you how you want to answer. Um, how do you think that influenced your approach in tabletop gaming, in design in general? Let's start with you, Bianca. Pabalik naman tayo.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it's really tricky for me to answer kasi parang on first surface answer would be I don't really draw on it a lot. Pero when I'm thinking about it a little bit deeper, sometimes there are growing up there are some things that happen to you as a woman or you experience as a woman that tend to accumulate a little bit by bit and influence how you view things and how you eventually design things. Things like feeling like mas macho yung mga guys than you, and then having to deal with that kind of complexity as you grow up, or the perspective of feeling that you have a life path of you have to become a you have to bear kids by a certain age, having that pressure on you, and then reflecting upon that, how would those emotions play out when you try to role play characters that have similar backgrounds and issues as well. So it's not a direct parang correlation na parang just because you're a
Mm-hmm.
woman, you would automatically design things in a certain way. But it does introduce you to
Right.
some life experiences and perspectives that male game
Mm-hmm.
designers might not necessarily have as well.
Sure. Yeah. 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 I definitely um can see that there are certain views or at least perspectives that, yeah, we might not immediately I might not immediately see. How about you, Aya? On your end naman.
Um,
So
so how it has like being a mother, tama ba, or a woman affected my game design?
yeah, just did you feel kasi syempre you can see, for example, Magic the Gathering, you have or even D&D, no? Um Guy got designed it. You can see some, especially in some of the games, masyado mataas yung male bravado, or the the content is focused on certain aspects that may not necessarily be as important to a female designer. So did you notice
Mm,
anything that could have influenced or contributed a little bit on how you looked at game design, um, from your
I
experiences?
guess
Uh,
I guess from I can't really speak on how it has affected my game design in the sense that like um the games I have designed or co-designed are parang meant for certain clients and to like drive a certain point. So that was like a stronger I guess influence on how we on my thought process in designing
right.
these games, since nga they have certain objectives, learning objectives. But maybe I can talk about um, how parang there are maybe in terms of like not just the design process but the whole process of producing or publishing a game, kasi that's also one thing that Balangay did, and I was the only woman in Balangay. uh
Sabi nga ni ano eh, ni Nico eh, you're the boss. Yan.
Hindi naman. I guess I think that was a medyo older comment. So it was like specifically for resilience, since nga parang
Mhm.
I was the one who was parang familiar with the message. But going back to how it might have helped the team that I was a woman in an like all guy, practically all guy team, in the sense na I was like in producing Darna, let's say publishing Darna. Uh, I'm very detail oriented, but I guess in terms of like managing the whole thing, uh, and making sure we hit the targets. I don't know if it's like connected to being a woman. I have
No,
no idea.
I can attest to this because I'm gonna connect it towards community building as well. We'll be talking about that too. I everybody knows that we run Bacon. By the way, everyone, Bacon will be announcing the dates and all of the details soon. Approved na kami. So it's a go, Bianca. By the way, heads up. Alam mo na, kailangan namin ng presence mo ulit. Um, pero a lot of the progress that we got was Aya, from your sort of view and attention to detail, and yung, sorry for the term, kulit, no, na tamang kulit kasi pag yung the usual bunch, sakto lang, parang okay, meron na ba tayo na follow up, parang alam mo, chill lang. Tapos teka lang, so magpapanik kasi magkakaram na dahil nga, oh, teka, kailan na yan? And then, so, but it turned out that with you, we were able to get a really nice new venue for, so yes, I definitely can see that. Probably it also affects the targets for designing a game and whatnot. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Um, do you have any specific sort of values or causes or advocacies that you somehow incorporate into your designs or into your community building? So something about um, what you feel might be more unique to you, that you actually, whenever you get the chance, would incorporate into your designs or again into your projects that you work on. So Aya, we can start with you.
Mm, I guess the values that that I value and incorporate in what I do. I guess one is respect, mutual respect. So I feel like this is so I guess this is more on the community building aspect. Though it's also important, I guess, in collaborations. Like because I think a lot of the efforts, like creating a game and getting it published, is also usually a collaborative process. Um, so mutual respect for everyone, as well as uh, sorry, do I need to go into the details of that? Like in
Oh
concrete
no, okay.
terms. Okay.
No naman.
Um,
No naman.
pero yun, I guess it just helps make the whole experience more parang pleasant, and I guess it also builds
Mm-hmm.
relationships. So
Yeah.
um these relationships are important when you try to make like yung mga longer lasting partnerships, collaborations, or just making people feel welcome, I guess, in terms
Yeah.
of joining either the activity or uh, putting their best effort into these collaborative projects. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Do you
so
think you have kasi I noticed it, especially for example, when we talk to our sponsor, um, I think you would have you I would I might have been able to do something similar if I was approach her. But I think mas mabilis yung naging parang approach mo because somehow you're able to um, the term you used was lambing. No, that you were able to um, appeal to her good side and then was able to slowly showcase the value of the community and what can do with their venue. So I
yeah,
think
yeah.
iba rin talaga yung ano no, meron talagang um, parang appropriate, parang ano lang yan sa pag nahuhuli ng sa traffic violation. my wife can always just get away with it. Like never siyang, ay, sorry sir, and then just smile and sige ma'am, you can let go. Sorry. I have to make an extra effort. Napapakiusapan ko naman, pero it's not the same. To her, it's much faster. It's like, kuya, sige na, hindi ko napansin yung ano eh, yung sign eh. And then okay na. Nakakatawa lang. So, I think iba rin talaga yung appeal in the nurturing voice nga ng females in terms of creating connections, building connections. Sorry. Bianca, how about you?
Yeah, for me, it's a lot of having that love for local and regional talent. And one of my projects is across RPGC, which is basically a database and a promotion site for tabletop RPGs by Southeast Asian creators. So I really want to uplift their voices, make sure that they're heard out in the world so that ma-recognize yung talent and incredible creativity of our creators.
Okay, cool. Hingi ako ng SOS. Nico's gonna join in a bit. Yung process ko. I can speak naman. Kaso nga lang, it's acting up a little bit. So, I'll move on to the next question muna. And then,
Can I add
so
something
ito,
to
I
what
guess,
Bianca shared?
yeah, go ahead, of course.
I guess I just wanted to add that that's also one thing I value, like empowering other people. Um because I feel like in improving things, it really each of us really have our own strengths, and parang these these strengths are combined is like really something that can that we can capitalize on, that will make things better. So uh yeah, I wanted to affirm na I too share that see parang being able to see the value and strength that one could bring to the team and trying to maximize that.
Cool. And just like that, I believe in the power of empowering people. I think Nico to the
Hello.
hey.
Hi,
Hi, thank you,
I'm
Nico.
Nico. So, Bianca, I don't think. Oh, wait, we have met in one of the bacons, but just briefly, very briefly, I think. Hi.
Hello.
Um, and then, of course, so Aya's my wife. So, yon, we work a lot in Balangay. So, yeah, sorry, I just entered now kasi I had some medical tests this morning. So, medyo pagod pa ako. But I got the rest na. So, yon, so, um, uh, yeah, so I'm here.
Yep.
um,
Thank you, Nico.
yeah.
I
Um,
I'll
you want me to
continue
ask
with
some?
one question, and then you can continue with the questions. So the next one is now more on uh so you guys have your eto alam ko talent to ng women talaga. So guys, when we deal with things, it's one box at a time. So if for example, may kailangan akong gawin na task sa work, I open up that work box and then work on it. When I'm done, drop. Okay, I'm now going home. I open up the next box, driving home. And then nasa bahay na, uy, I'm at home. Okay, dinner box. And until makatapos ako ng araw. While women can open up multiple boxes at the same time. Yung tipong kausap sa phone, nag-work, yung kids nandyan, naglalaro, and then somehow is still able to like monitor everything that's happening. So, how do you think that aided you in your initiatives and projects? In if you can share some examples of things, parang katulad nga yung sa'yo nga, Aya, na ikaw yung project manage. I think a lot of really good project managers. I'm coming from the tech field. Are women, mainly because they can pay attention to a lot of things more more reliably than men. And then yun. So any of you can start on if you have ideas already of how does that your innate skills of multitasking help you in your game design and community building initiative.
You can go ahead, Bianca, if you want.
Okay. So I am definitely multitasking helped me a lot with developing and releasing the Kickstarter for Arc, which was my biggest game. Kasi I was doing the writing, the drawing, the layout, and also developing the marketing materials for it so that it would be a successful campaign. I am not sure though if I multitask well because I'm a woman or because ajit lang ako. and, and madami lang oras na gumawa ng mga kung ano-ano. But yeah, it's been really helpful for me. I like being creative across multiple fronts kasi that also means that you could incorporate themes na consistently all throughout the product and make sure that it comes up as something really high quality.
Agree ako
Uh,
dun, Bianca. Yung cohesiveness nung Kickstarter, the art pieces, in the book itself, all throughout. Akala mo ilang team members ang gumawa. But you're right that they're being able to somehow mentally keep all of those boxes open. I think is really, or yun nga, mag-adjit ka lang. Ma, well, gusto mo naman talaga yung ginagawa mo. So I think it also. Yeah.
uh, I'm not sure if I was. Well, anyhow. So I guess I might describe today wherein uh my kids kasi have like their assessment tomorrow in school. So because of the transport strike, we were allowed to work from home. And so I took the parang I took advantage of that and worked from home. So while working on my like day job work, I would set up like their activities, their worksheets, so for them to work on. Tapos they'll be like, "Oh, mama, I'm done na," and then I'm gonna check them, and then I'm gonna give them the next thing, and then I'm gonna continue my work, and I'm gonna chat Ron and like say. I and volunteer for this stream and like draft the caption for this for for the post while like and then afterwards I'm gonna draft naman the like bulletin that we're supposed to parang release for work. So yeah, it's definitely helpful in the sense that if I couldn't do that, I don't know. It's just like it's just how manage. Like if I can't multitask or like do several of these things, magiging malungkot ako kasi like work lang or hindi ako maka-work kasi nanay lang. So, I don't know. It's really just,
Mm,
I guess, a matter of adapting and like trying to still do the stuff I want to do despite all these different responsibilities.
agree. Kanina na nakakatawa nga kasi nga, nag-message ako sa group, "Hey guys, here's the topic, maganda sana kung female designers." And then bigla nag-pop in si Aya, "Oh, dahil ano, Women's Day today, I'm volunteering. Normally I don't." Okay, sige. Tas kwento kami kung ano yung mga possible topics. And then nag-message ka na, di ba, na, "Oh, I'll be back kasi, ano, later na kasi, ano eh, gonna be busy with the kids." Okay, no problem. Somehow, in my day, hinanap ko maisingit yung poster. Pag post ko ng poster, siguro nakita ni Aya, pasok siya ulit. Habol ako, caption, ganito. Sana ako, di ba busy ka pa sa kids? Sana may ano eh, may, may nasuspon na bagong process. Pang ano, di, kulang na lang habang nagluluto ka, sinong na. So, yun, it's really cool and I think it really helps then be able to do a lot of creative things. Agree naman doon kasi you have to be creative with your kids, with your loved ones, with your family. You know, be parte naman din ng buhay natin to also entertain our peers. We're not always just on the receiving end. So a lot of game design is creating a way to entertain people din kasi it's a plus. Any
Uh,
comments lang, Nico? You can ask
yeah.
if you have some questions.
Okay, so I have some questions. Um,
Before that,
yeah. Ah, ah,
can I comment on what Ron lang said na about
Yeah, go ahead.
okay.
I think lang another value rin is being emphatic. Another
Mm,
value we might have na parang we are conscious we are conscious about how these people might be feeling. So either if it's like people you work with or the players na parang what would they be feeling? So we can somewhat adapt to that na parang okay, I think it's either masyadong malali or I don't know, parang how do I go into detail? Pero exactly, and just being sensitive to the player's experience maybe.
yeah, and I think you were able to set that in the community you started with good food. So I remember you walked up to them and hey, we want to start this, and then yun nga, yung tabletop also started to join, and you were able to sort of set the pace, set the culture, um, and it helps if you are paying attention. And I think uh, moms and women are do that best. Kasi minsan, as guys would, you know, tend to be nasa insensitive. Hindi lang talaga namin napapansin. Galit na pala siya. I was not informed. Hindi naman sa ganun. But yun, parang masyadong focused nga kasi. Yun nga yung concept ng single box. Ako I multitask, pero ang multitask ko, hyper trading, ano no, term that it's basically, I can only do one task at a time, but I'll just keep switching really fast. So, mabilis lang yung load time, pero yun yung method ko. Hindi katulad nung sa inyo talagang literal simultaneous yung nangyayari. Yes.
Oh,
Nico,
okay. Okay, so I listed some questions. All right, so no, based on your work, Bianca, and based on working with Aya, and just the general process of doing game design, there's really a lot of different things that you do, right? And like yung work mo, Bianca, nga amazing that you did the graphic design, the writing, the halos everything up to the marketing. Tapos yun, I've worked with Aya. She's whatever needs to be done, kaya niyang gawin. So my question is, in that process, which part is your favorite? Like, which do you enjoy the most? Is it the design? Is it the drawing? Is it the playtesting? Is it the marketing? Which ones would you think are the most enjoyable for the two of you? Baka Bianca, if you want to go first.
For me, it's definitely the graphic design because that's when it all comes together when the text starts being set next to the illustration and you start seeing more of a polished product and it's like really satisfying.
Yeah, I agree because I also have kind of that. I also do like the graphic design of some of our games. I like making logos, but yeah, when you put it all together, parang iba na eh. It's really different. Is there any other process or any other part that you really enjoy that you'd want to share?
I guess I like the deciding part because that's where you get all of the complex bits and see how they fit together and it feels like a puzzle that you have to solve.
Yeah, especially kasi games nga are like complex systems. Although that's where I might not agree in a way kasi ako naman I get stressed. Kasi parang, paano ko siya ipagkakasya once like, we have all the pieces. But it's fun, but also like, kaya ba to? Baka hindi mag-fit. So yun. How about you, Aya?
So,
Which parts do you enjoy the most?
Um, I enjoy it the most when it's being tried out by either like the client or a group, or
Mhm.
so like for game design, I when we do game design, I enjoy the pitch, like when we enjoy
Mhm.
when we pitch our game engines to the client, and parang nakikita mo na they're like parang it's a nice puzzle for them, and like engage sila, and when they kapag nakikita mo yung mga aha moments na parang, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
th- parang this is letting me think, and yun nga, when they actually like feel through the game, parang see the message that it's trying to put across. uh and then for the events that I organize, I enjoy usually like pag medyo patapos na yung event. Kasi parang kasi parang thank you Lord. Patapos na siya. And it's like no big hiccups.
yep.
It's
Mhm.
successful, and parang it paid off. All the hard work paid off. And I guess
Yep.
syempre like when people are
Mhm.
uh happy and thankful uh about you organizing this. So it even if super pagod ka na at that point, parang at least you see that na-appreciate naman siya, and like um parang yun, it's worth it. It's worth the hard work.
Yeah. Yung for me, yung pitch, I enjoyed the pitch to the client if they get it. Pero the moment leading up to the pitch, parang kabang-kaba ako. Kasi baka hindi nila gusto. Tapos parang back to the drawing board. Okay, so next question for me is, it's actually a two-parter in a way. What game would you say most inspired you in your game design? Like parang ito yung game na um, parang wow, I it's what inspired me to become a game designer, and someday I hope to be able to make a game like this. And the two-parter is, in the same vein, what game exists na you wish ikaw yung nag-design? Na parang, sana, it's so good, it's like the perfect game that I wish to someday design, na parang ganyan. Um, um,
So I could answer it, yeah. So the tabletop role playing game that really inspired me to start creating was a silly one bond paper RPG called
mhm.
Honey Heist, where you play
Okay,
as bears and you're going to steal some honey. But it was
okay.
so fun. It was so simple, and you generate like a random adventure each time, and you do the heist, but
Mhm.
it was so refreshing that I thought I really want to create something. Pero capybaras naman, which is the world's
Mhm. Mhm.
largest rodent.
Mhm.
And then that started me thinking, hey, what if we tweak the formula a bit? Heist siya, pero merong parang werewolf mechanics na may
Mhm.
traitor you have to vote out. And
Mhm.
then that started me thinking, how about we do some twists on role playing game, adding some nice new mechanics, and that led me to several fun creative journeys.
Mhm.
On the other question naman on what game na I wish I designed, there's this role playing game called Ultraviolet Grasslands by Luca Reyes. So it's
Ultraviolet.
basically
Okay.
grasslands. Yes. So
Mhm.
it's basically mostly a setting, pero meron siyang system for playing it. And it's set in a really wild world where there are cats with human hands that are the top elite of society. There
Mhm.
are porcelain princes that telepathically connect with one another and acquire multiple bodies. So it's a really creative world with such a strong vision na parang, damn, I really wish I was the one who thought of this.
So parang it's just the world, pero ayun, parang people can come in and make their own like, so
Yes.
RPG setting talaga siya. There's no, yeah, it's not,
May
kayo na
optional
gagawa.
rules,
Mhm.
pero it's very light and you can use another system if you want.
Okay, that sounds cool. I will Google that later. How about you, Aya? What is there?
No, there's no such game. I don't know. I
Mhm,
guess when people ask me ran like what's your favorite game, I really can't answer kasi
mhm.
Thank you.
hindi
Yeah.
naman sa mataas yung standards ko. Just joke lang. Um it's more of I don't know. There hasn't been a game that I would call a favorite. Like I really like trying out different games.
Mm,
And it's just that yun, nothing has really stuck.
mm. But how about ayun? Is there a game na parang, although I guess iba kasi the way we design is parang client based. But like, is there a game na parang, wow, it's so good, sana ako yung gumawa nun? Parang ganun. No, then.
No, then, but I mean, I think I'm still quite proud of resilience.
Mm,
In the sense that uh, when it has been played by like mga planners of mga cities and municipalities, like they actually parang really get the point such that they would want to review and revisit their comprehensive land and water use plans. Parang I would say that it has been quite effective.
yeah,
Mission
yeah,
accomplished. Mission
yeah.
Yeah.
accomplished.
And that
Yeah.
actually, that side of gaming, I also feel isn't explored so much, especially by like the hobbyist community. But it's also a different kind of genre of games naman din. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So my next question is, what is your dream game design project? So parang like, this is how I imagine this is gonna be my magnum opus. Like if you could just um, imagine far into the future, you created your like best game that you'll ever. This is the game that you will be known for. Do you have like a vision or an idea, or can you imagine what that game is like? Um, or or it's more like just really taking it one step at a time, just doing the game in front of you.
I don't have
Yeah.
such.
Yeah, I guess for me it's more one at a time then.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, so I guess because there are some people who would like, they have this, like for example myself, one day I'd still want to make a very deep game about Philippine mythology, let's say. That when we started Balangay, that's kind of what we wanted to do, but then we kept thinking, oh, we need to practice more and more before we even attempt that. So for sa inyo, it's more of just whatever's in front of you, yun muna, and then yun, you're not building up to like this future ideal project.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, have you ever considered making games outside of the usual genres that you do? Kasi like, so si Bianca, so more of you're doing more of RPGs, right? And then si Ayam, yung games niya is like the socially relevant simulation or yun types of games. Have you ever considered trying, making games in a different kind of genre? Like, I don't know, maybe Bianca, you might want to try. Have you ever thought of making like a Euro game or something? Or Aya, just a game na pang commercial lang? Or Or also maybe a Euro game, ganon. Have you ever thought of that? Or not really?
Not
I
really.
once tried to prototype a simple card game
Mhm.
na it's not an RPG, so it's a little outside my wheelhouse. So basically, it was like, tatry kang mag-commute nang hindi naka-hold up. That was the
Oh my
concept.
Wow. I'd love to see that
god.
because it's such a relatable concept. Maybe have you fleshed it out? Was it something you've prototyped and
I prototyped it, pero it was years ago, so I need to revisit it again.
okay, sige, sige.
Yeah.
For bacon, maybe if you can bring it, it will be interesting to see.
Okay.
Um, so yung just last two questions, more of 2, 3, but we'll see how long the last two is. So first up is, so ito medyo straight up na will be asking it na, were there challenges being a woman into the game design, game publishing, community building? Were there challenges that you had to face or and overcome because you were a woman? And did you have that experience? And if it's okay, if you can share with us, what were the challenges and how did you overcome?
So I think I
Bianca?
might have been lucky because for most of my career I'm using a writing pen name. So it's not immediately obvious that whether I'm a
Mm,
female or a male. But I do always
yes.
wonder if I'd been using my birth name, would there have been some discrimination in terms of having my project
Mm,
visibility, especially since catering to an international audience online, which is, US, UK, where they might have different gender balance perspectives. So I'm
right.
not entirely sure. I'm grateful na so far it hasn't seemed to be a challenge, but I know that representation can still be improved, and not just for
Mm-hmm.
women but also for queer people, and that is, yeah.
Yes. And yes. Actually, isa yun sa nung ano nga, kailan nga ba yung Pride Day? Parang, kasi it would be interesting to also see queer and LGBTQ plus designers and see their opinions also in design. Aya, did you have any challenges or experience any challenges on this before?
I'm not quite sure in the sense that I guess my personality has always been quite I'm assertive and I'm upfront and I'm vocal about my thoughts. So
Mhm.
I don't know if that quality has like helped me in a sense
Mm,
na not really be ano ba um muffled or something by mga
right.
societal expectations or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So um parang I'm fortunate I guess that I was
Good.
raised by strong women. So I have parang may mga role model, parang nakita ko na from an early age that um parang women can be leaders,
Mm-hmm.
women can uh parang uh voice out what they want to say. So parang I'm I guess this is just this one I'm not yet quite sure if it is kasi it hasn't really happened so often. Pero I'm not sure if the difficulty lies more in a culture of I don't want to say the term because I'm not sure if I even fully understand it. Pero
Mm-hmm.
toxic masculinity ba? I'm yun nga, I'm afraid of saying
Yeah.
it kasi nga I don't
Um,
fully understand it. But sige, you were gonna say
say
something.
I think um there the community especially um it varies. Magkakaiba kasi ng um distribution din nung gamers. So from board gaming to tabletop RPGs to let's say miniature war games, yung concentration ng one gender to another nag-iiba. So I think with the ones we are in, I think yun nga medyo mas acceptable. Alam ko, Bianca, naging challenge pa natin pabaliktad eh, no? Mas accept ka sa labas, nahirapan kang i-market sa local. Yun pa yung mas naging barrier for entry, pabaliktad yung ano. Sa labas, widely accepted agad. Pagdating sa local, ganun para mas mahirap yata ikwento dito. So hindi siya ano no, hindi siya naging parang gender specific yung barriers. But that's good. And I think yun nga, it really helps nga to know your voice and yun, tama ka dun, Aya, about the role models. It it does help to have good leadership skills on any gender kasi nga you're able to convey your message and speaking of being good leaders, um, how, how do you want to inspire, upcoming designers and female community leaders? Ano yung pwede nyong advice and pointers to them on how to express themselves in their game design, in their community building, in their building of relationships and networking to the community? There any advice you guys can give, values and you know mantras that you guys follow or habits that you guys follow? Maybe Aya, we can start with you.
Advice to mga future mga other women game designers and
Mm-hmm.
organizers. I guess just go for it. Um, there are a lot of challenges I feel for women in the sense na, well, I guess I'm talking more from the aspect of uh like having to raise a family alongside other stuff. Na there's really parang time and energy seems really limited, and uh yun nga, ang daming ibang responsibilities like work and kids needing your attention. But if like you feel like if you feel like doing something, just try it out. um
Mm-hmm.
I think that we actually have the capability to, like, kagaya ng pinag-usapan kanina, like the multitasking powers and just the pure passion, I guess. Na you'll be surprised, I guess, na kaya mo pa palang magbigay pa more or makagawa pa more. So, yun, when you feel that urge, go for it. And you will also find a lot of support from other people. So, yeah, yun.
Nice, nice, nice. I love that. Yeah, I definitely agree. Bianca.
Yeah, I think I'll also echo what Aya said and go for it. Be fearless. I also want to add na parang help uplift one another, be each other's support and peer network. So I think para mas effective tayo na working together to be, I don't know, to be more elevated and have more brighter careers as game designers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think tama yun. I agree on the go for it. Um, you, and extra advantage nga that you can go for it while still managing everything else. That's the magic sauce. Kasi minsan pag nag-go for it kami mga guys, tigil muna lahat ng iba eh. Wait lang ha. Ayusin ko muna to. Parang bukas na ako mag-work. Ginagawa ko yung prototype today. So, I'll be honest. Ako, I do that at times. So, ikakram ko muna yung iba kong work. Tapos saka ako magpapabalik ng game kasi hindi ko siya kayang multitask. So, agree also on the peer network, no? I think being able to have the humility to ask for help. Hey, I want to do this. Who can I ask? Who can I consult? And now, you young female leaders, advocates, and game designers, you have um, people here that you can ask. Um, so, how do people reach you in social media and for your projects? Um, what are the upcoming projects that you guys are working on? If you can share, don't have to give full details. Um, Aya, we can start with you. Kung bang, aside from yung Saving the World projects mo ngayon, or at least Saving the Philippines.
Projects?
Yeah.
Ano ba? Uh, well, yun, Bacon's coming up soon. So watch out for that. I think Ron and the team will announce it soon.
Yeah.
Projects. Yeah, right now, yun, we're I'm a bit swamped at work for the oil spill, for the
Right.
MT Princess Empress oil spill. If you are listening and you're from Oriental Mindoro, Cuyo Islands in Palawan, or like
Mm-hmm.
the eastern part of eastern northeastern part of Palawan, if you see any sightings of oil slick or deposits on the shore, you can check out the UP Marine Science Institute Facebook page. We put a link there about the citizen science effort of Karagatan Patrol, wherein you can report these sightings. So yeah, that's where I work sa Marine Science Institute. So yun. Uh yun. Ah, and
Cool.
we'll be
Yeah.
I'm all yeah, the other one is like a family project. So I guess it's not appropriate. Well, it's not really something I need to announce. But yeah, if
I
you
will
wanna
post
reach me,
sa PM chat natin kung tama ba yung aking link.
that Marine Science
Tama ba?
Institute. No, but it's fine.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
UP
So,
Marine Science.
if you can,
It's okay. Later, sige.
UP Marine Science City.
Yeah.
UP
Anyhow,
Marine Science.
you can also reach me by this is my FB name as well. If you wanna private message me, I check naman my message requests. And yun, the Balangay page, Balangay Entertainment. Yep.
Thank you, Aya. And Bianca, any upcoming project, teasers?
Yeah, so I'm about to playtest a game where you play as factions competing for the most resources and glory atop a vast, majestic creature that could be flying through water, through air, through space, or even through time. So that's role playing, competitive, but also kind of a board game type of tabletop. So I'm really excited to progress on that. You can
Nice.
reach me via
Nice.
Twitter. My username is Momatos. And you can also learn more about my games and even buy them from my website, momatos.com.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Bianca and Aya, for the quick turnaround and helping us make a really awesome episode today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This has been a really cool episode. Until next time, keep safe, And happy gaming.
Bye. Good
Bye.
night.